You might have clicked on this video thinking, how in the fresh fuck is this fool going to use Minecraft to document weight loss? I mean, what? Seriously? Well, it's pretty simple actually. I plan to make daily short videos documenting what I eat, tracking calories and a few other macros, and then releasing weekly recap videos in a longer format where I talk about the week, check weight progress, and then maybe even talk about random topics, all neatly wrapped in some classic Let's Play style Minecraft gameplay. This Minecraft world that you're seeing here is actually my forever world. This version of Minecraft is the Legacy Console edition of Minecraft, specifically the PS4 version. I started this world a little over a year ago, and seeing as it's been a little while since I last played on it, I figured it would be great to pick up where I left off to go along with this health journey that I plan to take. To better explain why I decided to do this, I should probably back up a little bit. You see, I've struggled with my weight and health for a little over a decade now, particularly after finishing high school, and this was mostly due to a significant drop in physical activity, as well as an increase in the amount of food that I was eating. My peak weight was around 450 pounds in 2018. After some time, I dropped below 400 pounds. This was because I had permanently cut off drinking regular soda, because I realized that I was drinking 2 liters a day on average, which is a sickening amount to think about. The amount of sugar in that soda, I'm actually surprised that I'm not diabetic. Nowadays, I only really drink diet soda, and even then, I don't drink anything near 2 liters a day. And then during the COVID-19 pandemic, I dropped below 300 pounds for a short while. Not really because of a healing relationship with food or anything like that, but only because I had refused to order food out from places because of how afraid I was of getting sick. So instead, I decided to cook groceries that I would just have delivered instead. Eventually, I did gain that weight back sometime in 2022 once COVID restrictions were really starting to ease up, and I eventually leveled out at around 380 and 390 pounds. And so, here I am today. After a recent visit to the hospital and a scare involving my blood pressure being really high, considering I'm only 27 years old, this is simply unacceptable for me. And I can no longer ignore the harsh fact that I have been slowly eating myself towards a horrible death for over a decade. As they say, the first step in fixing a problem is recognizing that you have a problem in the first place. So here we are. And I'm pretty sure that if I gain any more weight, my morning alarm is going to turn into the Pokeflute tune. I want to commit to losing weight and permanently keeping it off, and I'm using these Minecraft videos as a medium to document my weight loss journey. This will serve as a form of accountability for myself, and hopefully, just maybe, it might inspire somebody else going through the same thing that I'm going through to go ahead and make that change as well. With all that said, I actually think it's a great time to mention that I'm already 2 weeks into this, so consider this video my first weekly quote-unquote checkup, because now I'm actually going to be going over my macros for this week. Just a little bit of a heads up first. I'm aware that the diet that I've eaten over the last 2 weeks is far from perfect. I'm not seeking perfection, but rather a tangible, trackable improvement on my habits over time. Obviously, getting up to 380 pounds required me to consistently eat an excessive amount of calories, in the ballpark of around 300 calories daily. Eating things like large Taco Bell orders, Wingstop tenders, all sorts of stuff on a very regular, almost daily occurrence. And my current basal metabolic rate, or BMR for short, is around 2,650 calories a day.
It's gonna be 2650.
Oh, you could shove 2650.
For those unaware, BMR is a metric used to calculate the amount of calories the human body burns just to operate on a base level, as if you were laid up in bed all day in a coma. Your total daily energy expenditure, or TDEE for short, is a more accurate metric for most people with my lifestyle. Largely sedentary, not much exercise outside of what is necessary for things like work or travel, that kind of thing. However, I made the decision to try to do my tracking based on BMR, not with my TDEE in mind, because there's always human error to account for in calorie tracking. I don't claim to be an expert, so if there's a better way to do this, please feel free to share it. If my daily BMR is 2,650 calories, then my weekly quote-unquote BMR should be 18,550 calories. Let's see how my stats from the last couple of weeks look. First day I started, Thursday, May 27th, 2026. I had a 0 sugar yogurt for breakfast, a 1/3 cup of granola, and a large banana. For lunch, I had this sandwich from a local sandwich shop called Mr. Pickle's Sandwich Shop. Say that 5 times fast. The sandwich is called the Mr. Pickle. You can see the ingredients here. And then the order also came with a chocolate chip cookie. And for dinner, I had Hamburger Helper cheesy Italian shells. Here's the ingredients that I used. And then I also had a cup, as in 8 fluid ounces, of Simply Light orange juice. My totals for that day were 1,866 calories, 62.5 grams of protein, and 22.5 grams of fiber. For day 2, Friday, May 8th, 2026, I had 1 slice of Oro wheat multigrain bread, 2 large brown eggs cooked sunny side up with a little bit of olive oil, and 2 Halos mandarins. I missed lunch that day. For dinner, I had spinach and cheese tortelloni, ground chicken, classico, fire roasted tomato and garlic pasta sauce, and a veggie mix. For dessert, I had a chocolate moon pie. The totals for this day were 1,354 calories, 60.5 grams of protein, and 15.5 grams of fiber. Saturday, May 9th, 2026, I had a little pre-breakfast snack because we already had plans to go out for the day. It was just a mandarin. For breakfast, we went to IHOP, and I got the spicy poblano eggs benedict with a side of seasonal fruit. For lunch, I had a Chick-fil-A jalapeno ranch club sandwich with grilled filet, and I did not have a bun with that. I'm not a big fan of Chick-fil-A normally, but the sandwich was okay. For dinner, I basically just had leftovers from the night before, and the totals for that day were 1,753 calories, 113 grams of protein, and 16 grams of fiber. Day 4, Sunday, May 10th, 2026. I had a 0 sugar yogurt, a Nature Valley peanut butter granola bar pack, and 2 Halos mandarins. For lunch, I had a Togo's chicken Caesar wrap. Here's the ingredients. And for dinner, I made something that I am just going to go ahead and call extra veggie chili. I got the idea for this from a video that I had seen online. I mean, it's basically just chili, but the video in question called it autism chow. So there you go. There's the inspiration for that. And here's all the ingredients that I used for that. And I also added a pinch of Parmesan cheese. And my totals for that day were 1,655 calories, 79 grams of protein, and 25 grams of fiber. For day 5, Monday, May 11th, 2026, I had yet another 0 sugar yogurt and 2 mandarins. For lunch, I had leftover extra veggie chili with a pinch of Parmesan cheese. And then an unplanned snack, a coworker friend of mine gave me a Jamba Juice strawberry whirl with 2 scoops of whey protein. It was pretty good. And for dinner, we went to Nick the Greek. I ordered Nick's fries with chicken souvlaki. The issue with this dinner is that it was kind of hard to find accurate calories for this order that I had made. So I did the best that I could, and I just erred on the side of the higher end of things just to account, like I said, for human error. The totals for the day were around 2,239 calories, 98.5 grams of protein, and 18.5 grams of fiber. For day 6, Tuesday, May 12th, 2026, I once again had a 0 sugar yogurt and 2 mandarins. For lunch, I had, once again, leftover extra veggie chili and a pinch of Parmesan cheese. For dinner, we got Five Guys. I got a little cheeseburger, protein style, basically no bun. Here's the toppings that I got for that. They actually also gave me an extra order of that exact burger setup, except they added barbecue sauce on that one. So I ended up having that for lunch the next day. I also shared the little fries with my fiance, so I had half of that order. And then I added 2 tablespoons of jalapeno ranch that I had laying around in the fridge. For dessert, I had 2 small Mexican pan cookies. I'm not sure if these are called polvorones or something else, pan dulce, but there you go. And the totals for the day were 1,950 calories, 66 grams of protein, and 20.5 grams of fiber. For day 7, Wednesday, May 13th, 2026. So we're coming up to the end of the first week now. I had a zero sugar yogurt, 2 mandarins. For lunch, I had that leftover Five Guys little cheeseburger. The only difference is this had barbecue sauce, like I said. And then I also had 2 mandarins with that. A snack when I got home from work, I got a Jell-O zero sugar chocolate vanilla swirl pudding cup and 2 of those same Mexican pan cookies. For dinner, I made huitoni, not sure how to pronounce that, 5 cheese tortelloni, 80-20 ground beef, classico fire roasted tomato and garlic pasta sauce, and a veggie mix, and then a cup of Simply Light orange juice. Once again, I mean 8 fluid ounces, so a cup. Totals for this day were 1,800 calories, 77 grams of protein, and 14.5 grams of fiber. And if we go ahead and take a look at the totals for the entire week, I ate a total of 12,617 calories, 556.5 grams of protein, and 132.5 grams of fiber. If we go ahead and add all of those up and then average them out over a 7-day period, that comes out to an average of 1,802 calories per day, 79.5 grams of protein per day, and 19 grams of fiber per day. Not too bad for my first week. Now here we are on the start of week 2, day 8, Thursday, May 14th, 2026. For breakfast, I had a cup of Lucky Charms and a cup of 2% milk, and then a Halos Mandarin. For lunch, I had leftover pasta from the dinner that I had made the night before. For dinner, we went to Denny's. I had some wild Alaskan salmon. I ordered broccoli and red-skinned potatoes as my sides, and it came with a dinner bread as well. The totals for this day were 1,880 calories, 92.5 grams of protein, and 14 grams of fiber. For day 9, Friday, May 15th, 2026, I had 2 slices of Oro wheat multigrain bread, 2 large brown eggs cooked sunny side up with no olive oil or butter or anything this time, 2 jack cheese wedges, and 7 slices of pepperoni. For lunch, I had a can of Signature Select chicken breast, the entire can, 9.75 ounces. I went ahead and drained that, mixed it with about 3 tablespoons of reduced fat mayo with olive oil, and then a cup of baby spinach, and then I paired that with 1 serving of tortilla chips. For dinner, we had Taco Bell. I ordered the Chicken Chalupa Supreme Combo. I gave my fiance the extra taco on the side. I just had the 2 chalupas and then a side of nacho cheese sauce. The totals for the day were 1,750 calories, 104 grams of protein, and 15 grams of fiber. For day 10, Saturday, May 16th, 2026, we didn't really have a proper breakfast because we woke up kind of late and we were meeting up with a friend. But for brunch, I had a Starbucks spinach, feta, and egg white wrap, and a Starbucks grande, so 16 fluid ounces, iced horchata shaken espresso. For dinner, I had half of a grilled chicken pesto sandwich from this restaurant that we went to in Santa Cruz. Here's the ingredients that it came with. I had a side of French fries, 1 slice of cheesy garlic bread, and 2 tablespoons of buttermilk ranch. For dessert, I had 1 Marini's milk chocolate maple bacon strip, and then I had 1 scoop each from Marianne's Ice Cream Shop of 2 a.m. truffle, which is vanilla ice cream with fudge and blackberry swirls, and Heaven, vanilla ice cream with chocolate and peanut butter swirls, and then brownie bites. The totals for the day were 2,535 calories, 71 grams of protein, and 16 grams of fiber. It is worth noting that while this is a very high calorie day for me, we did a little bit of exercise throughout the day, just walking around and that kind of thing. I wouldn't account it for too much, maybe 100 to 150 calories. It's not a huge difference. For day 11, Sunday, May 17th, 2026, I had 2 brown eggs cooked sunny side up. Once again, no oil or butter. 1 slice of Oro wheat multigrain bread, and a half of a medium avocado. For lunch, I had the other half of the grilled chicken pesto sandwich from the night before, a half a medium avocado, and 2 mandarins. For dinner, I cooked something interesting I found at the grocery store. It's a bacon-wrapped chicken breast that's stuffed with jalapeno cream cheese. A serving of that is 1/2 a piece, so I had that, with 1 serving of roasted garlic herb baby potatoes, so 1/4 of the package that I had cooked, and 4.5 ounces of cherry tomatoes, and this is their pre-roasted weight. And then for dessert, I had 5 assorted chocolate pieces from Marini's, the chocolate shop that I had gone to. This included a blackberry truffle, an almond cluster, that sort of thing. The totals for the day were 1,970 calories, 78 grams of protein, and 23.5 grams of fiber. For day 12, Monday, May 18th, 2026, for breakfast I had a parfait with vanilla yogurt, berries and granola, a It came prepackaged from the grocery trip that I had recently. And then an unplanned Starbucks cinnamon coffee cake that I was given at work. For lunch, I made a sandwich with heft, as I wrote down in my notes for some reason. Here's the ingredients if you want to check those out. For dinner, I had chile verde, half of the order that I had gotten from the restaurant that I went to. This came with 2 flour tortillas. I had one of them. And then I also had a carnitas taco on the side. This is a street taco, so it came with 2 corn tortillas, onion, and cilantro. For dessert, I had a vanilla and chocolate swirl soft serve cone from the ice cream truck. Totals for the day were really high. 2,865 calories, 120.5 grams of protein, and 24.5 grams of fiber. We're on to day 13, Tuesday, May 19th, 2026. For breakfast, I had another parfait with strawberry yogurt this time, berries, and granola. For lunch, I had the leftovers from the previous night, so the other half of the chile verde plate. And then I also had the leftovers from the night prior to that, the bacon-wrapped chicken dish with potatoes. And then I also had the leftover flour tortilla. For dinner, I made pasta with Italian sausage. However, instead of eating pasta for the night, I actually had some frozen broccoli that I just went ahead and steamed really quick as my base, just to save on some calories. I also added 2 teaspoons of this Botana creamy habanero sauce that I wanted to try out, which was pretty good, not too shabby, pretty tangy, and a pinch of Parmesan cheese to go with that. The totals for the day were 1,960 calories, 120 grams of protein, and 18.5 grams of fiber. And finally, we're on to day 14, Wednesday, May 20th, 2026. For breakfast, I had another zero sugar yogurt, as well as another one of my sandwiches with heft, as I'm calling it. I don't know what else to call it. However, this time I swapped out a couple of things. I got rid of the avocado, and instead of mayo, I replaced that with chipotle honey mustard and mixed that with regular mustard, and then 2 more teaspoons of that Botana creamy habanero sauce. For lunch, I had 3 carne asada tacos, and then for dinner, I had around 3 cups of red pozole. And the totals for the day were 2,105 calories, 121.5 grams of protein, and 30.5 grams of fiber. For this week, my totals were quite a bit higher. However, you'll see by the averages that it only ended up being about a 350 calorie increase daily for my averages, which isn't the worst thing, and I'm still very much in a deficit with this diet for this week. So the totals for this week were 15,065 calories, 707.5 grams of protein, and 142 grams of fiber. And if we go ahead and average those out, 2,152 calories, 101 grams of protein, and 20 grams of fiber. While this wasn't as good as my first week, this is still very much an improvement on my old habits, so I will take this as a win. Also, I weighed in on the morning of Thursday, May 21st, at 376.3 pounds. So I think I'm headed in the right direction. So that's it for the first 2 weeks. I know I have a long road ahead of me, but I do truly plan to stick to my goals this time, for the sake of my own health and for the people in my life that mean everything to me. I hope you'll stick around to see just how far I can go with this. With that said, I realize that this video lacks the Let's Play style gameplay that I had promised at the beginning of the video. And that's because I wanted this first video to focus on explaining everything first. If you found me through this video, then there should already be another video here on my channel with a world tour for my Forever World if you're interested in that. And if you want to stay up to date on my progress, please like the video and subscribe so that you don't miss other videos. Maybe even make sure to hit that notification bell just so you get those notifications in. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves and see you next time.
Blocks and shit, cause I'm in the fucking Minecraft. I am placing blocks and shit, cause I'm in fucking Minecraft. Oh.